For some days now, there is something on the internet that is even trying to finish people's data. It's about the incidents that occurred between a male lecturer and a female student in a federal university. Student trying to make a video, and the lecturer person patted her on the back and he tried to excuse himself from the video. The student reaction, the beating, manhandling of the lecturer and the lecturer's matured behavior towards what the girl was doing. Everybody is writing. Some are condemning the girl, some are praising the young man's matured attitude towards it, some are cursing the girl and all this stuff. But I tell you, maybe I think differently. Looking at the whole thing, it's a lot easier for me to look at the girl and say the girl did not do well. She was a bad girl. She didn't behave well. Why should she? And oh, wonderful. The man did well. The blame or the praise belongs to none of those two parties. Rather belongs to the parents, especially the mothers. That the girl was focusing on making video in the school, in a public place, in a busy walkway, and her reaction towards her lecturer or a lecturer in that institution should not be thrown towards the girl alone. Whatever the girl displayed is what the mother put in her, whether by omission or by commission. Whatever that girl displayed, I tell you, came from what she saw, what she learned, what she observed, or what she absorbed by the activities and inactivities of the parents, especially the mother. Most times we don't seem to understand that our children hear what we do more than what we say. So when you are talking to them, you are advising them. What you're saying is not as loud as what you are doing. That they see you, they watch you do, they observe you do, they perceive that you do, and people talk about you doing. Oh, no, forget it. You see, as I am right now, I'm of the opinion that whatever a child displays out there is a result of the child's nature and her nurture. Nature talks about those natural, what came to the child by birth. Maybe that is what runs in the blood, the lineage. That is the character of the people in that family. They are hot-tempered, they behave this way, they are saucy, they don't have regard, they are abusive. That is how they are. Whether you're educated or not, so far you're from that family, of that blood, that is how they behave. Or that they are naturally kind, they are gentle in nature. No matter what you do, it's difficult to provoke them, for them to react. That one is not what a child was born with will eventually manifest. If the ones that are not good are not clipped off, those things will grow with the child. That is where the responsibility of the mother comes in. The mother has known that in this family, the members normally do this, behave in this way. Then the mother should open eyes and work on the child to ensure that those negative traits in the family don't manifest. That is why we are not just women, we are not girls, we are not just ladies, we are mothers. There is a biological exposure, is a biological development, a work that brings us to a level of responsibility, so much commitment towards molding lives the way the life should be molded, to make same profitable to the host community and the society at large. So if you notice that there are some traits, natural traits in your child that should not be there, you start working on the traits It's a pity that exposure, society, social media, trying to get money, trying to have fame, trying to belong, trying to be this and that, have made us mothers to forget that we have sole responsibility of molding these children. If we could endure and have them in our womb for months, what is it that we cannot do again? When they were doing all they put, they peed, they did all the rubbish in us, and we endured to the climax of the whole endurance, when we are screaming, trying to push them out, or went under knife for them to come out. Now they have come out. When they were not there, you were praying for them to come. So I don't want to blame the child totally. In as much as looking at that girl, she had come of age, to be held responsible for all her actions. But I still want to talk to my fellow woman. I don't know the mom, and I'm not really interested in knowing her. I'm using this to talk to other women and talk to myself too. Because the child we cannot tame inside will go outside and disgrace us. So the nature that is not favorable, start dealing with that nature that is not favorable before the nature will drag us to a place of disgrace. So I will not blame the child totally, because there are some of us that are behaving well because by nature we have such good traits in us, and there are some that are behaving awkwardly because by nature they have awkward traits in them. But the mothers there, what were the mothers doing that they could not notice or clip the negative traits that are manifesting in their children? Or are mothers becoming too busy that they don't know again that what the children become would depend on our input? That is about nature. Now we'll talk about nurture. Nurture is about the environmental exposure we give our children access to. Your children watch and see how the environment is. That you live a life of hostility, that you live talking to people anyhow. They watch you, mother. Tell them how somebody wanted to slap you and you gave the person 7 slaps at the same time and the man collapsed, and you're making them feel important. They are doing press up that one day, with the anger and the preparedness in them, anybody, they won't even care. When you tell them how you don't hear, you were swallowing all manner of things for those children to come, or maybe for that child to come. Now the child has come, you have become so busy, you have forgotten. You are now busy. You go to salon and spend hours. You go to make your face, you go to do your nails, you go and go tailor and you waste time, you go and do shopping, and your children are watching you and they are seeing where your interest is, where your main focus is. They are watching you. And when you come and say, don't mind what I was doing, no, just do like this. What you are saying is not as loud as what you are doing. So they hear more what you do than what you say. And it is what they get from you that they will go and display outside. My name is Precious Caleb, and I'm telling you the simple truth. I'm a mother, a biological mother too. And I normally beat my chest and say, I'm trying my best. And God is helping me to see that I bring up my children in the way of the Lord. Is it easy? For where? I know the traits in my family where I come from. I know the traits in the family where I'm married to, that of course may not be nice. And I'm looking out to see if any of those traits would dare manifest in my children. And before I ever witness them manifesting, I've started talking to my children about them. Look at the things that happen in my family that should not occur. These things are not good though. Your husband, my husband's side, your parents, look at though. I will start talking about them so that my children will also be vigilant to know when those things are coming up. If it is hot temper, if it's anger, if it's picking what's not your own, if it's being covetous, if it's greed, if it's whatever it is, I'll just be mentioning them. As we do morning devotions, as I advise them, I mention them, and I consciously walk in a way that those traits will not be found in me. They watch you. Every time you're on social media, you drive half naked, you come. Wherever you are, you're doing video. You're telling the world when you smile, when you don't smile, and what you're doing on social media does not really benefit people. So they are catching cruise. They go to school, they don't focus on their studies, they're focusing on how to make themselves known. After all, when they wear naughty things and come out, their mother will tell them how, oh, sexy they are looking. And what matters to them is how they look sexy. At the other time, I saw a mother that was walking with the daughter, and the daughter was practically naked with just one skimpy things, and the mother was walking behind her, admiring her, telling her, oh, she was looking for. I looked at it, I said, is this the biological mother of this girl? And of course, she is her biological mother. And tomorrow, when the child grows like that and is behaving like that, it's not the child's fault. It is the exposure, it is the nurture that was given to her by the parents, especially the mother. When a child will do something wrong, you will not punish, you will not you will not rebuke the child. If there is need for you to punish the child, you will not say, no, don't touch her, don't touch her, don't touch her. So if at all anybody corrects her, she just can't dare manage. Oh, for what? She will react immediately, because such is forbidden. Nobody dares to rebuke her, to confront her, to condemn what she's doing, to dare scold her. No, because in the environment where she was brought up, such cannot happen. So when the child goes out there, if you dare touch the child, you are in trouble. I sit and quietly watch things that go on. There are some parents that have made their children to believe that those that are in education are the poorest. They should not be respected. They should be trampled on. That there is no regard for those in education, whether they are teachers, whether they are educational facilitators, whether they are lecturers, whether the rank of a PhD, whether a professor, whatever it is. So far the person is in education, the person is poor, the person is of low cadre, the person does not amount to anything, the person should not, and they will make the children to hate the profession of education, teachers, those lecturers. So they look down practically on lecturers, on teachers, because their parents, especially their mothers, have made them to hate the profession. You tell them, would you like to be a, they say, God forbid. Would you like to be a lecturer? God forbid. And I want to marry my husband. The person that wants to marry me is a lecturer. Hey, God forbid. I beg, go. So some parents make their children to look down on lecturers. They don't have respect for lecturers. They don't have respect for teachers. Some women, some mothers, or some parents that are listening to me right now are guilty of fighting teachers of their children. They abuse them, online, they abuse them physically. Sometimes they will carry fight and go to school to confront the teachers that handle their children for more than 4 hours. For more than 4 hours, sometimes 6 hours in a day. Those children are in the custody of these teachers, and parents will still come and abuse the teachers, call them all sorts of names, harass them, tell them the history of their lives, and let them know they don't amount to anything. And their children will be watching them and be learning that, oh, being a teacher is a disgusting thing. And growing up, the child will believe that a teacher is such a nonsensical person. Don't even blame some. A teacher will walk very early in the morning. A teacher has left the house, will go and stand and coordinate people's children, different kinds of creatures in the name of children. They will just come and dump them for teachers, human beings. They will be with them. Some will come and complain about one thing up to 10 times. The teacher must be patient. Some will even step on the teachers. Some will do all manner of things to teachers. The teachers will be enduring and be calming them down. The afternoon, the teachers will make sure that the children have gone. They will stay back, they will tidy their things. Some will write lesson notes, some will arrange things, some will set questions, both the tests, the essays, the assignments. They will do the marking, they will set exam questions, they will administer, they will do the marking, the collating, they will compute the result, they will record the score. At the end of the month, the owner of the school or the government will count few notes and give the teacher. And the money given to the teacher cannot take the teacher home, cannot fuel tank of the teacher. And you expect these children to have regard for them. Tell me anybody in education that is rich, that is respectfully rich because of the proceeds from the schools. None, except those that have decided to put hands into some other things, like getting themselves involved in business, in consultancy and other services. So why not? Why then will all these our children have regard for them, because they know that even the society does not value them. So they treat teachers as if teachers are just not supposed to exist. But the greatest man on earth came from a teacher. Yes, even Jesus passed through a teacher, Joseph, the carpenter. He was there learning. Look at those people you admire, you respect. They sat under teachers, and teachers taught them how to recite national anthem, taught them how to recite the pledge, taught them how to write the alphabet, taught them how to spell their names. Teachers did all those things. Teachers taught them how to dress. Teachers taught them how to become anything in life. And when they finally become, they turn and they start talking down on the teachers, and their children are watching them. So those teachers that their parents talk down on, especially their mothers, that will not take any nonsense from any teacher, from any lecturer, he will come and deal with that and tell the lecturer the foundation of his poverty and his suffering. When your child is watching you, listening to you, seeing your attitude towards it, how will you expect that your child to respect a teacher? And you that you have told your child, you have made your child to believe that education is a scam. Anything you can do, just make sure you monetize your social media account so that they'll be paying you money. You can even, in fact, you come and even be naked and be misbehaving in front of camera the whole world. After, they will give you millions and millions. Why a teacher, your lecturer, will labor from January to December and will not be able to save 1 million? Just go and stand in front of camera for 30 days and they will give you hundreds or tens of millions of naira. So how do you expect that child to have regard for that lecturer? So when the lecturer taps that your child with that his poverty hand, she will feel like, oh, what is this? Oh, what is it? You're rubbing shit on my body. I deal with you. And now you want me to go and be blaming the child. The blame should not go to that child alone. The blame should go to the parents, especially the mother. I'm saying this. I'm a biological mother. Let me just annoy you a little. Some of those mothers that talk down on teachers, they cannot stand face to face with a teacher and speak correct English or talk responsibly. They cannot stand any teacher. They can't stand the lecturer they're talking down on. It's just that life happened to some. The Bible said that it's time and chance happening to them all, because the race is not for the swift. Some people got into education, whether teaching in secondary schools or lecturing in higher institution, not by force but by choice. They felt like giving back to the society, not because they cannot be useful in other areas. Some are in education as a sacrificial contribution to the society. But those that life landed them at an unfortunate privilege, they now come and look at lecturers and talk down on them, make their children to think that lecturers worth nothing. Yes. And the society helps them. And those, the employers of teachers, lecturers, labor, they make mockery of them. They make them go hungry. They make them beg. If they say that what is done to them is not good and they go on strike, they will keep them for a very long time. And when they come back, they will not pay them. They will not pay them. They drag them to court and force them to accept. You know, so many things going on, and you expect the child to have regard for a teacher. Who is that lecturer? How much is the sum total of what the lecturer has in this life that a particular student will not go and open legs like this? And those that could not pass exams under lecturers will give the child that money, and you come and the teacher will just... The blame should not go to the child alone. Every blame should go to the parents, especially the mother. And when it comes to praising the young man for behaving well, of course, that is just the opposite of what I've talked about concerning the child that did not behave well. The praise should go to the parents, especially the mother. Have you heard this song that said, "Who sat and watched my infant?" You know that song? Somebody sat down and molded that young man. Somebody sat down, especially the mother, and molded the character of that young man. Maybe when the father of that person beat the mother, after crying, the mother will go to me and say, "Please don't beat any woman." And the child will look and see how the mother, a woman, suffered under the beating, abusive treatment of the father, and made up his mind that he will never treat a woman in such a way. By what the mother was going through, by what the mother was telling him, by what the mother was doing, a character was molded and baited in that man. So when he had an opportunity to do what maybe the men in the society, or maybe the parents, all those ones, they say, and maybe by nature, that young man was a fighter, because in their, but the mother helped to remove that particular character in him and put the character of being tolerant. So whether it's good or it's bad, everything boils down to what parents put in a child, especially what the mother put in a child. As I am right now, I'm trying my best, and I believe God eventually help me to bring my children up well, not just because they are Christians, but because they should have role model in me. And for me, any child that misbehaves outside, if I have time, I discipline the child. But if that misbehavior gets at me, my problem is not with the child, it's with the parents. One day, my small daughter came back from school and said that there was a boy in the class that came newly, and people were hailing him. He was doing younger, and he looked at her and did eyes somehow, and like tried to intimidate her as if he was a happening guy. My girl, no send. My children, you know fit. You can't intimidate them. You cannot. So they will be respectful, but you cannot take it from them. So after telling me, I say, tomorrow, when you get to school, if that child misbehaves towards you, give me the contact of your class teacher, so that I will get the contact of the parents. I will call the parents and warn them, hold your son. If your son misbehaves around my daughter, I don't have time for him. I will come after you. Because what your child is displaying is what you put in him. So if you don't want your child to disgrace you, remove disgrace from him and put grace inside him. My name is Precious Caleb from Family on Focus International. Of course, you know, if it concerns family, Family on Focus International will be involved. That is why I'm here. Parents, go home and train your children well, so that they won't be disgracing us out there. The Lord bless you.